like an invite or something.
Oh.
Did you?
Oh, I think I got.
Accept it and see what.
Yeah. See,
Oh,
see,
God.
Wildor just went live. Who did? We're all live. We're all live here.
Live. Okay.
How
so,
are you? I don't think I did.
I'm in. I'm in.
So now we just gotta.
let me go to a stream mixer, Wildor. Maybe I'll see. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I've never.
You should have to press the notification up in the top right.
You got a slick background too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Check this out. Oh, this is how
Dude, what are you gonna do? You show me up. It's just like me in my basement here.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I see it.
Terrible.
Yay!
Look if
Fucking did do it.
Look at this.
Look
at that.
Oh God, I hear all the things.
Check that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nintendo.
I like that Murph did the same thing. It's just a video of us in our rooms, not this fucking cool ass background. And
I can make a cool ass background. If
This is shit.
You know what? Just to upshow him, I'm gonna do it.
It's about time.
I'm gonna
listen here, Mr. Fucking calendar schedule. I don't get no shit like no fancy shit like that on mine.
I really like the calendar thing.
I want the fucking calendar.
Shit, look at that. I can send you the PDF if you want.
All right, so where?
What am I gonna do with the PDF? I don't know how to use Photoshop.
All right, tell me what you're gonna play this week. I'll fix it for you.
I don't even know that answer.
God damn it!
I just want a schedule, but I just don't know what I have to play on my schedule.
Murph's not fucking around.
Told you I can be fancy pants too.
Fucking fancy pantses.
I'm staying big. I don't even care. Look at the size. Look at all the space here.
I got floaty bits.
See, mine's not animated. I need to. Oh shit!
He fucking showed you up in one fell swoop. He showed you up.
Dead to me.
That's what I do, son. Even with the link chats. Here, you ready? You can do this.
Obama. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Actually, I'm going to move my webcam over here so I can see all three of us. The thing. User flip.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. All right then.
Now
we're all here. We're all good now. We're
live.
Everything's fine.
Awesome.
We're all fine. We're all fine here. How are you? Star Wars reference.
We need them. Star Wars references are important.
Star Wars references are great.
You know, the worst part about being old now is that you're meeting people who haven't played or haven't watched Star Wars, and it's just like, who are you? You're missing out on every like significant,
where were you
possibly
40 years ago.
Shut your face.
So the Mitch shows up and it proves my point. Like, what's Star Wars?
What's Star Wars?
What's a Star Wars?
That's a Star Wars. I don't know.
So we're here for episode 17.
Yes.
There it is.
We've done
episode 17. The Force reawakens next time on a show.
This is exactly it. 17 Star Wars movies to be coming anyways. So we've beat Star Wars to the sequel number, but they've got a bigger budget. So
yes, I would say so.
Disney dollars.
Give me all them dollars.
Give me all them Disney bucks.
So we're here because we want to talk about E3. We're 9 days away from E3? E3?
From the
Holy
Electronic
shit, is it that
Entertainment
close?
Expo?
No, June. I'm super excited, so I'm just cutting it short. I'm telling them all.
Not
E3.
this weekend, it's next weekend. But yeah, like we're 2 weekends away.
So yeah, the 12th, 11th. 11th is when. June
11th is
Xboxes.
Yeah, what is the schedule? Schedule?
Nintendo
Sunday
is on Tuesday
is-
the 13th.
Yeah,
So
Sunday
Monday.
So then working backward. EA
sorry.
starts on Saturday, I think, and then
Yes. Then it's Microsoft on
and
Sunday.
Bethesda on Sunday,
Yes.
and then Sony and Ubisoft on Monday, and then Nintendo on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think there's one
Nintendo-
more.
Nintendo isn't going to be.
Nintendo's still going to
not
do
gonna
direct.
they're not going to have a press conference. They're going to do a
Nintendo
direct.
hasn't had a direct or hasn't had a conference since, let's say, like
2012?
Yeah, it was right after they announced the Wii U. So it's been a while.
They announced it. We're out.
We're out.
We're out.
I'm not letting you
But
guys
in-
make fun
but
of
in
our
a sense,
consoles. No
though,
feedback from
in
you
a
guys.
sense, though, I think they're onto something. I think they're onto something. They have a super slick presentation. Like they don't have to worry about things going wrong because they can, it's not live. They don't have to worry about, the avatar's foot bending backwards and all that stuff that Microsoft has done before.
And I just realized I
They
had
can
my
make sure it's perfect.
microphone's muted, so oops. There's no audio on my stream. Yay.
There you go.
Oops.
So, yeah, I agree with you on that aspect. And the funny thing is that Nintendo has done it. I kind of get excited for Nintendo Direct. So it's they're definitely doing it right. So I don't know if I need to experience it live so much as the fact that E3 brings all that news conference stuff together. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's almost the same thing as an Apple conference where it's like, I don't really need to see all that stuff live on screen. Like you could soup it up a little bit and make it, but I just love the gathering of all the news in one sort of conference. So it's
and I think I think there's definitely a place for the traditional E3 press conference like Microsoft and Sony still do, and there's a lot of fun and interesting things to gauge from that. But then you kind of end up occasionally with scenarios where like the demo doesn't work and there's someone live on stage and there's just like this really cheesy like high school skit, like, boy, we're sure having fun here up on stage playing this awesome game that you've heard about for a while now. And whereas Nintendo's like, here's a presentation that we cut, edited, put together, and it still gives you all the awesome news, but it's slick and you're not going to get any of those like it's a live presentation hiccups.
Well, even in the live presentation, like how many times have we seen a live presentation and it it's pre-cut footage? Do you know what I mean? Where the guy's like holding out the joystick, going, "Ooh," and you're like,
A lot of the Kinect stuff was like that. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need. You don't need to treat us like we're kids. Look, we get this. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah. So Tuesday the 13th, and it's at 12 Eastern time, 9 Pacific.
Yes. Yep.
Good timing. Good timing.
Good timing.
That is a good
And
time.
obviously, I'm representing Nintendo.
Team Nintendo Smash. Oh man.
Woo! Smash Bros.
I got
My main Toon Link.
There it is.
There it
So
is.
good.
Came prepared, man. I got
Well, actually, I got it. I'm not wearing. I got a new shirt, Kohl's, yesterday. It has an NES controller and it says "classically trained" on it.
Yes.
So I saw a barista this weekend. Well, I wasn't a barista. It was someone who worked at a Tim Hortons. And
Almost exactly the same as a barista.
Same thing.
Dude,
Total
they make
barista.
coffee.
They make coffee. And this kid had that exact same logo. He had the Nintendo controller. It was tattooed on his arm. It was like the
Nice.
controller. And it said "classically trained." And I'm, kid, you're fucking like 20 at most. How can you be classically trained? You know what I mean? Like I wanted to. I was bitter. I was bitter as fuck.
Maybe one of his parents still, it's like, you're not getting an Xbox. We're gonna bring up the NES. You're gonna play that first.
Yeah, bullshit.
That's my plan. Well, I would show it on stream, but I don't want to because it actually doesn't show his face. But my son was playing with my Switch this weekend.
There you go.
So I was playing Zelda because I was just and so he was like he had the control, the Joy-Cons out. He was playing with those. He's like, "Daddy, I try, I play, I try." I'm like, "Sure, bud. Here we go." So it's not his first time holding a controller. He's held my Wii U. He's definitely done a little bit on my 3DS, but he hasn't really like played a game yet. So
do you worry more about your son holding the Switch controller than maybe the Wii U, considering how less plastic, like, the Wii U has that like this big plastic shell.
The Wii U has that Fisher Price
nice
kind of
sturdy.
feel to it. Yeah.
It's got a nice solid casing on it. It doesn't feel. Yeah. Yes, Wii U's.
Why didn't you guys tell me? I would have brought mine down.
You're dead.
I feel left out.
Here, where's my kickstand? Oh,
Yeah.
no kickstand.
Not the
My
same.
kickstand's right here. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Here's my kickstand.
There you go.
Little guy, just a little kick.
Yeah.
Murph, you
was-
got the right one. You got the blue and
the
red
neons,
one.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
like I love because I have it sitting like right here between my keyboard and my monitor, and it has this nice little splash of color into my desk. It looks so nice.
Yeah. Yep.
I love it. Anyway.
Ben is not impressed.
These fucking designers. Who? These fucking guys. Give me back my gray shelled black and gray.
don't
Come
do
on,
it, don't
fucking
do
guys.
it.
Hey, because you know what? In traditional fashion, if I ever get more Joy-Cons, I will get gray ones, and that's the one my son gets to use.
There you go. There you go.
Player 2 always gets the more inferior version.
And Mad Cats is out of business,
Get him
so
the
you
Mad
can't
Cats
get
version. Oh no, wait, no.
no Mad Cats.
There will be
now
no
it's just
Mad
gray.
Cats in my house. Because here's the beauty of I think we're getting way off topic. Here's the beauty of being, I think, a parent gamer, is that all those tropes that we had growing up. Oh, I never had any semblance, but you'd always go to a friend's Cats controller.
Yeah.
But as a gamer, as a parent, like I have the money. I will be buying first-party controllers from here on until eternity. So when it's time for my son to play, what does he get to play with? He play the exact same kind of controller I got to play with. So
That's
you don't
right.
get the knockdown version. You going to play 360 with me? Here's a 360 controller.
There you go.
You get the real deal.
So, what about you, Zorb? Do you give your daughters the Elite controller because that's what you play with all the time?
Funny story. I have given them the Elite controller, but they don't like the paddles in the back, and they take them off all the time.
Oh, geez.
So I was just like, you're going to lose these things, and it's going to cost me a fortune to replace them. So I was looking into getting them a Mad Catz controller. But then I was like, well, I just got them like a regular Microsoft. I got them this guy here.
Yeah.
And then they fight over who gets to use that green one, who gets to use the black one. And like they're both the same. I'm trying to tell the kids like it's the same. They're both this. No, I want to use the green one. I'm like, oh, okay. It makes no difference when you're playing the game. I'm telling you, but there they are.
Yeah.
You never had those fights as a kid?
What's that?
You never had those fights as a kid?
You goddamn right I did.
You have a brother.
I had no siblings, so
You were only child?
All my Nintendos belong to me.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Man.
Yes.
Sweet life.
I have an older brother, and my mom had to do a schedule. She had to whip out a calendar and be like, this is Ben's day. This is Chad's day. This is Ben's
man, you guys were civilized.
No, it wasn't civilized. It was not civilized.
Right.
I would purposely watch the shittiest shows, and it's like, let's play Nintendo. I'm like, nah, man, we're watching the History Channel, man. This is like, cause this is what I do. He's like, you never watch the History Channel. I'm like, no, today it's my day. I get control because when you're the younger brother and you have no control over anything, if you get a little control, you're using it to the best of your
shit. You're real shit.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, that's what we have to do as the younger brother to survive. Could do whatever we can. All right.
So E3.
E3.
And
roll
Nintendo
into this.
E3.
So what do we think? What do we think is going to happen? Let's start with what's been announced that we know that's been announced that we're sort of excited for, because we're still
New Donk
waiting.
City. New Donk City's going to be there.
What the heck is New Donk?
I see the notes, Mario Odyssey. When he's walking in the city, in like the real life city, there's like a poster that says New Donk City.
It's like, okay, I must have missed that.
Yeah, so they said that's going to be there and playable there, right?
Yes, they did say it was going to, that's like the only thing they've specifically come out and said, yes, we are going to have Mario Odyssey, and they came out and said, yes, it'll be playable on the show floor. So, and that is their flagship holiday title. So there is no way they're not going to have it, unless we're going to, Mario doesn't have that same stigma of Zelda's coming when it's ready.
Yeah.
Mario does not suffer delays like Zelda suffers delays. So I think it'll definitely be there. Hey, Creepin', how are you?
What's going on?
So I definitely think we're also going to be probably seeing. I think from what I understand, they're going to be mostly covering stuff that's in 2017 is I think what the sort of the buzz is behind the scenes.
So we'll get ARMS?
Maybe, because ARMS is coming out like that week.
Yeah. That's a weird time for that to be released.
Now explain to me ARMS, because I feel like I've watched video on it, but I don't quite understand what the objective of this game is supposed to be.
It's a fighting game, and I'll use the best example that I can. It's sort of in the same vein as like the Wii Sports Boxing. It's got the sort of motion control, so these characters have like these like long, springy arms. And they have special moves. I played like 1 or 2 rounds during the test punch this weekend.
The test punch?
The test punch. They did the same thing. Like they did like a couple different sessions, like an hour apiece. Yeah. And it's interesting as neat, and I'll be kind of interested like see where it goes. And it's kind of one of those issues where like with like 1-2 Switch, where I feel like 1-2 Switch was intended to be sort of like
a party game,
Wii Sports, a party game, and sort of like a Wii Sports, like a tech demo of here's what the Switch can do. But unfortunately, I don't want to tack on another $50 on top of the console I just paid for a tech demo. If they had been like 30 or even 40, I may have been more interested in picking 1-2 Switch. And I feel like there's going to be a certain amount of, I think ARMS is going to have a lot of character and that, you know, standard Nintendo design philosophy behind it. But I also kind of feel like it's sort of like, it doesn't seem as like, as rich as I think it could be. But that just played, one round. But, people latch on to weirdest things.
I think it's really hard to demo that game. Like the trailer they put out for it recently doesn't show the intricacies of the combat. Like there isn't a lot of, you can dash around. You can, when you throw your punch, you can actually kind of swing it.
Yeah.
While it's in mid-flight. But when they're showing the trailer, it's just guys doing this. So it looks like a really bad kind of like motion graphic game, like something you would see on like the original Kinect or the Wii.
Yeah.
And I think the game is more than that, but it's hard to show it,
But
it's sort of like when the 3DS came out, it's really hard to show like the 3D. And it's like, hey, there's 3D in this thing. You're like, oh, that's so amazing and cool.
It's like, trust me, it's there. Trust me.
Yeah.
Did the Joy-Cons have motion control in them then?
They do. So the right Joy-Con, which is the red one here. So if I'm playing Breath of the Wild, this is the one that like aims or does motion control stuff. So if it's attached to the console, it's perfectly fine. But yes, like if I'm playing like this is the only thing I use to control it.
Okay.
So there's no control in this one, but there is in this one. But they both have the HD rumble feature. So
wait, the left doesn't have motion control in it?
Actually no, it should. I don't know. Yeah, no, they both do. So actually, and I'm wrong. I will correct myself. So yeah, but in Zelda, this is the one that aims your
right,
which makes sense because I guess you do this. Also, that's where the button is for it. So you click and you aim.
It's not a podcast till someone says pew.
Pew 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 pew.
Success!
Success! We did it! I did it!
So ARMS, we think Nintendo's going to show it because they think this is going to be a seller.
I don't think. I think it's going to be. I don't know if it'll be a seller per se. I think it'll definitely be. It's more of a title of interest. I think it's not one of the. Mario Odyssey is a seller, definitely. I think. I mean, right now I think there's also, if my understanding is correct, the Breath of the Wild has an install rate of actually probably greater than 1. So like I think there are more copies of Breath of the Wild for the Switch sold than there are Switches sold.
Love that stat. I absolutely love that stat.
I think so.
It's a collector's item now.
Well, because like people couldn't get the Switch, but then still bought a copy of Zelda
for when they finally got one. Because
I'm gonna buy a Switch, but it's not in stocks. But this is, so I'll just buy this.
Yeah. So for me, I had pre-ordered a Switch. This is kind of a funny story. And I had to cancel my pre-order because I was supposedly going to be in the process of buying a house, and I didn't want to, tack $300-400 onto my credit card right before buying a house. So I canceled the pre-order, and then 2 months later, I'm still waiting. So I just bought a Switch a week ago, and now I have an offer coming in on my house, so I can finally move. So I knew like it was like somehow that was like the lingering. But I had also pre-ordered a copy of Breath of the Wild for Wii U because either way I wanted to play it. And I also had pre-ordered one of the lesser collector's edition of Breath of the Wild. So I got the nice carrying case here.
Sweet. You got 3 copies of Breath of the
Wild? I
have
2 copies of the game. I have 2 copies of Breath of the Wild.
And is any of
one
them
for Switch,
gold?
one for Wii U.
You're part of the problem, Murph. You're part of the problem.
You're part of the problem, Murph.
Here, do you want to show you something? See all these things? These are all of my Zelda amiibo. I'm only missing 2 Zelda amiibo overall.
Which ones?
The 30th anniversary Ocarina Time Link and the Bokoblin. But I know that I'm getting the Bokoblin this weekend as a birthday gift. So
30th anniversary.
30th anniversary of Zelda
amiibo.
30th, yeah. So it's Link playing an Ocarina. Yeah, it's an Ocarina of Time amiibo. It is not the 30th anniversary of Ocarina.
It's only $75.
Shut your face. And I bought it. And I didn't buy that one because I'm like, Ocarina, I don't care. I have a love-hate relationship with Ocarina.
Yeah, you do.
I have a love-hate relationship with Ocarina. It's a long. That's a whole other. That's its own standalone podcast. Is me and my opinions of Ocarina of Time. It's still a great game, but I've got my concern.
I can quickly share my Ocarina of Time story. I had Ocarina of Time. I was 25, 35 hours into the game. And you remember when the Nintendo 64, when you turn on the console, if you were holding the stick up or down, it thought that was the center of joystick?
Yeah.
So my roommate at the time was trying to play Zelda, and he was turning on the console, and he was fiddling with the joystick, and Zelda loaded up, and the menu was going... He's like, what the fuck? So he decided, in natural habit, he would just keep clicking the buttons. And in the process, deleted my game.
God damn it.
Never finished that game. I'm never going back to it. I'm bitter as fuck. And I haven't actually played a Zelda game since.
Shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, anyway, I missed Twilight. I missed Twilight, even though I worked for Nintendo's PR company, or when we were working at our advertising company, we had I did management for PR company and the marketing company, and they had PR for Nintendo in Canada. I got a couple preview copy of Twilight, but I didn't have a Wii, so I held on to this Twilight Princess game for a long time and never played it. And I haven't played the Zelda since, but Breath of the Wild was one. Anyways, off topic.
Off topic. So here's an interesting bit of pre E3 news is that there has been one leak for E3. So here's the thing we know we are getting that announced, and it is a Mario and Rabbids crossover game called Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
What? I did not hear about this.
Yes.
This is the best news.
So I don't know much about it, but I guess it's going to be very much like the Raving Rabbids game was back when the Wii came out, a party game sort of sorts. I do think there have been leaks about amiibo functionality in the game. I haven't had a chance to read it because I've been super busy this week with various other things. But yeah, so that is a thing that is coming. So there were leaks that showed not just the game was coming as part of the presentation, but some of the artwork. So it has all the standard Mario characters: Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser. But then there's all these Rabbids in the background also dressed as those characters.
I remember, did we play a Rabbids game for Wii U? Zorbs, I felt like we played it at your place the one time as a party game, and I was like, this is crazy awesome.
Yes, there was one on the Wii U. There's also there's a Kinect Rabbids game on the Xbox One.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Could have been it. Here's the question, though. Is this a Nintendo reveal or is this a Ubisoft reveal?
That's a good question. I'm sure it'll be a Nintendo reveal. God damn it, baby, shut the fuck up.
Can't.
Toby comes with its notifications. You have 10 updates. Shut up. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's highly more likely that it'll be a Nintendo reveal rather than an Ubisoft reveal, simply on the premise that Mario's part of it, and you're not going to see Mario.
But Ubisoft's first
on another console. Yeah, Ubisoft is first, but that doesn't stop. I think there have been. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there have been instances in the past where there's been a game that sounds like it could have been for any of them, but that comes out for a specific one. For example, I'd say that. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like we know for a fact that, or supposedly, the Final Fantasy VII remake is going to be multi-platform.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is going to be timed exclusive for the PS4, so it came out in the Sony presentation. Even though Square Enix, I think, had their own presentation that year.
Yeah,
so
Diablo had the same thing with Sony, where they never mentioned another console. It almost made it look like Diablo 3 was only coming out on PlayStation, and then like a week before it came out, they were like, "Hey, this is on all those other platforms too."
Yeah. So that's my thoughts there. I think I can't see Ubisoft saying, "Hey, we're making a Mario game." I can see Nintendo saying, "Hey, we're doing, a different game we're doing a game with Rabbids."
That makes sense.
So,
yeah. Or it could be a tease at the Ubisoft saying, "Hey, there's a Rabbids game," and then the larger reveal is on the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, like I can see like a teaser at the Ubisoft, like you see the Rabbids, and they might like break into something that looks like the Mushroom Kingdom, but then that's like it.
Yes, yeah, I could totally see that.
Oh God, you guys are thinking this through.
Yeah, that's just like I can see
the wheels are spinning.
Yeah, you hear them they're kind of like running around. And it's like,
oh shit, Bailey Bomb, what's up,
Bailey
brother?
Bomb.
Look at that 34 viewer host. Shit, you ready for you guys are here for hype, showing us some
hypeness,
some Nintendo E3 goodness. You just missed it. We're just talking about
Rabbids.
What? So what else do we think is gonna be shown? Like I think the thing I'm super stoked for, and mostly because I'm a huge fan on the Wii U, but Splatoon 2, I am dying for them to show more of that.
I never played the first Splatoon, but I'm definitely excited to try out Splatoon 2.
My God, it's by far probably one of my favorite games on Wii U, and that's including Mario Kart, because Sorbs loves Mario Kart.
Do we know if it's all new content in Splatoon 2? It's not going to be like a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe thing where it's like, hey, it's the old game with all the.
Well, I think they would be pretty stupid to call it Splatoon 2 and then make it a remake.
Rehash the same content.
They called it the Wii U. Come on.
This is true.
This is true. You are right. You are right. You're right.
But there is new characters like the Doolies or whatever. There's a character that's got like 2 guns and stuff. So
doing well, Bailey.
But they haven't really showed much about it, though. Really, like
no,
did that test run, and that was only just like a weekend.
Yeah. I think it's I kind of feel like the main purpose of Splatoon 2, sort of like Mario Kart Deluxe in a certain extent, that I think there was enough hype to say yes, we want a Splatoon 2, and we have enough. And Splatoon 1's only been around long enough. Like it's probably like whatever additional content they were planning for Splatoon 1, since they're killing the Wii U so fast, probably got hijacked and moved into Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
So I think in sort of a same vein of, you gotta remember, like we're talking about a system that's like Nintendo's worst selling console ever, and they released this brand new hot IP that everybody fucking loves.
Yeah.
And I think saying like, so all these people missed out on Mario Kart because they didn't have a Wii U, and like, let's package all the DLC, shine it up a little bit, and put out Mario Kart 8 so all the people who now have Switches that didn't have a Wii U can play Mario Kart 8. So I think Splatoon 2 is sort of in the same vein. So maybe Splatoon 2 is not exactly the right number. Maybe it's like Splatoon 1.8 to a certain extent. It shouldn't have
so
the same
close.
content. So it's sort of like kind of the same way that Super Mario Galaxy 2 is really Super Mario Galaxy 1.8. kind of thing. Like there was just enough to push it close to saying, yes, this is definitively a sequel, and we can actually add a 2 moniker to it. You can round up, but there's not that much that's delineated or varied from what the first output was, but just enough to say, yes, okay, we can add a 2 to this.
That makes
So
sense.
it's not Splatoon Deluxe. It's literally Splatoon 2.
Well,
and it probably has a lot of that content.
and you want good content on the Nintendo.
Yes.
Like you're selling a Switch, you want good content. Why not take, there's a good time to do a sequel or something that sells well and put it on a console that is selling better than the previous generation, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they need hype right now. And why not put games on it that people are, obviously Mario Kart, but like the Switch needs content, right?
Yes.
And good content.
And I think having the Switch now.
Oh shit! Why is that?
I think that's for me.
Oh, there.
Thanks, Bailey. At least it showed up on my stream.
That's awesome.
Woo! I love my little voice. Yeah, so it's
Bailey's the
so I'm kind of interested to see what Splatoon 2 is gonna be, because I even though I have a Wii U, I didn't pick up Splatoon because shooters aren't normally my thing, but I've heard a lot of good things about it at this point because Splatoon 2 is so close.
Pie.
Yeah, shout outs for everybody.
One of us is in deep trouble.
Because Splatoon 2 is so close, it sort of makes more sense. Just wait for Splatoon 2 for me.
Yeah, I'll say this about Splatoon is it's kind of like, obviously it plays like a shooter, but it doesn't feel like a shooter, which is, it's hard to sort of say that in any aspect because it's control. It looks like a shooter, it plays like a shooter, it shoots like a shooter, but it's not a shooter. Like I'm sort of predicting.
It shoots
myself.
like a Nintendo game.
Yeah, but it's
I
objective
remember,
based, right?
Yeah, I remember when the first trailers came out and everyone was like, how in the world did Nintendo make the most interesting looking shooter at E3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what the heck?
And
I think it's a testament to 2 things. One, just how good Nintendo is at this kind of thing, and 2, how stale shooters in general are. I don't think they're like bad, but like for me, who doesn't play shooters, like every time I watch E3 and they're like, watch this new trailer for Call of Duty, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now because I don't care. One military shooter looks the same to me as every other military shooter.
Well, as someone who plays a lot of shooters, I can somewhat agree with you and somewhat disagree with you in that, Call of Duty does not play like Battlefield.
It doesn't. I didn't say play, but it looks like. To me,
yeah,
aesthetically, they all look the same.
They managed to take something that's very violent and make it just look like you're having tons of fun. And it is a lot of fun to play it. Like it just doesn't feel. It's a shooter, but it doesn't feel like you're like.
It doesn't feel violent
and stuff. Like it doesn't feel violent. It feels like it's just fun. It's
like taking.
There's a bit
paintball.
of Nintendo magic to that.
Yeah. I think definitely having a vibrant aesthetic to it. Like when you get all kind of grim and realistic, like a lot of the shooters are, like that's when I just lose. Like, I had much more fun with Doom because it doesn't like go for the hyper realism. It goes for like gory detail.
Yeah.
But it revels in it. It's like, here's the gory detail and let's have fun with it. And then you've got like Overwatch with its more animated aesthetic, and then you've got like these are games I like because they take the mold and they changed up a little bit, or they polish it to a mirror shine like Overwatch, or you do something completely different like Splatoon. The fact that it's like the shooting is important, but it is not the end all be all goal. You're not after the other players, you're after spreading up the map, and the players just get in the way. That's kind of what the point is. So also, Zorbsy is now a toddler on my stream.
Yes,
you're a toddler.
Yes, I am a toddler. Mission accomplished. I'm done here, folks.
Yes, that's it. Pack it up. Pack it in. We're done.
So Murph, here's a question. What would you like to see? Like, what is a kind of like a wish list game that you would like to see them kind of drop during the direct. Like
Something that we haven't heard of.
Something I love new IPs, but
I like that. I like that answer.
well, yeah, I love new IPs because Nintendo does them like. But here's the thing: Splatoon's relatively recent, and Arms is brand new IP. But there's a certain amount of like, as much as I love new IPs from Nintendo, I don't actually want one this year because I've had enough new IPs. Like, I don't want like it sounds weird. It's like it's kind of this weird paradox of yes, I want new IPs, but I don't want them like so rapidly that they're going to dissolve. There was actually a period of my thought like occasionally Nintendo comes up with a brand new interesting mechanic for a game, and where they'll have certain franchises where they test those out. And a lot of times those dumping grounds sort of like I thought like the big sort of gameplay dumping ground was Kirby. Kirby would always get these like really random games that seem to have completely different control schemes. And so that kind of led me to believe like they had an idea, but they couldn't make it with it because that's how Nintendo does things. They make a mechanic and then they say, here's the mechanic. Let's design around that mechanic. That's how Splatoon came to be. Like, we have boxes, they shoot stuff and they cover the ground and we can go in the goop and move around. What do we do to make this? Oh, make Squid Kids and give it a street punk aesthetic. Like that's how that came to be. They did gameplay first and then designed around the functionality. Form followed function, which is the way it ought to be.
Okay.
So that's because that way, that's how Nintendo, like I think that's why Kirby gets really weird stuff because his form allowed him to do that. So, and actually speaking of Kirby hasn't had much nothing major in a while, I think. So I'd like to see Kirby show up. But of course, the one I always hope for and have hoped for a long time now, I need my girl Samus back.
Oh shit!
I need Samus. Like, because
give it to me.
Give it.
But Samus as a shooter or a platformer?
This is gonna sound semi-sacrilegious. I liked the way that the gameplay in other M worked. That was sort of a 2 3/4 D, where you still had 3D planes you could move around in, but it was still mostly linear, and it still had that aspect. As much as I love Metroid Prime, those games are fantastic, I think Samus and Metroid do work best in the 2D environment. So I still kind of like that. So not third person, but still like it still will be a side scroller, but you might have occasional sections where down corridors. But put it like more traditional. Like I want to go find items, not have some fucking jack off tell me, hey, you can activate your various suit after you've been running around in high heat for like half an hour. I'm like, you dick.
You can use those missiles now if you want.
You can use those missiles now if you want. No, I want to find the missiles and then I can use them. That's how Metroid works. So, but yeah, no, I want. And Federation Force is an insult, is what that is. So I want Samus back. And I think the other thing I would like, but I don't necessarily, is again back to sort of the idea that there are some games that you want to bring over to the Wii U, or from the Wii U that sold great on the Wii U for its numbers per capita, but people missed out on because they didn't have one. It'd be kind of nice to see Smash 4 Deluxe.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Like I don't think I'd buy it, but I probably will because I bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Sucker like that. I'm part of the problem. I won't deny it.
I bought Smash Brothers for the Wii U, mostly because everyone talks about Smash Brothers. Everyone is very passionate about Smash Brothers, and I played it on the Wii. I like fighting games. I just don't get Smash Brothers. I've tried to get it. I've tried to get into it. I don't get the juggling off the ledges. It just doesn't. But for me to say the same thing, what's the game we played at PAX? Brawlhalla. I mean, almost the same premise. Totally get that. Like I get the controls to that. I just don't get the controls for Smash Brothers, and I don't get the moves that all. There's a steep learning curve for that stuff. So like I bought it, I played it a couple weeks, and I was like, bye. traded it in.
Yeah.
I was just like, and I don't normally trade those games in, but I was super happy because fucking Nintendo games never drop in price, so I got a really good return on my investment.
Yeah.
And you know, the guys at my work, they you know, every Friday they get together, they sit in front of the big 80 screen, and they play 8 players, and they play it all the time. And they love it. Like they can't get enough of it. And I
Yeah, I think it's one of those things of, again, this is always sort of the argument with Nintendo, is that they kind of take a thing that's well known and sort of juggle it back on its head a bit. And so they took the fighting genre and gave it a brand new spin. So I think it's not, well, it is a fighting game, yes. I think it's more fair to try and treat Smash in the same vein as Mario Kart. It's not a game that's meant to be a high skills fighting game, despite what the pro Smash players will tell you. It's meant to be a game to get together with your friends and hang out with and just goof around and play with. Like, Smash is most fun when you have at least one other person or up to 4 people to play at the same time, and you just have fun. And that's really all that matters. Like, I can talk about skill and wave dashing and whatever to the end of the day, and I don't care. Like, the competitive Smash scene is amazing, but that's not my thing. I'm like, put on the items, and I don't care who you pick. I just want to have fun beating each other up with Nintendo characters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but I understand that. Guess just like shooters aren't for me, and Splatoon might be, or it might not be.
Yeah.
Smash is not for everyone. Some people who love Smash to death. I love Smash to death. But if you don't like Smash, I'm not gonna like hold that against you or anything. But it's just like, but yeah, no, I totally get it. But I think definitely if you want a system seller, that's one of those things.
Oh, I'll agree with that. I think Smash sold Wii's Wii U's. So I definitely don't think that them showing it would be a bad thing.
Yeah,
I think if they do show it, then that'd be good. But I don't. I have these things about that, you know, having them do remasters of like. It seems like a bad marketing idea if you're gonna keep saying, "Hey, man, buy our new console," but we're gonna still show you games from last. Do you know what I mean? But it seems like the hype is completely different for the Switch than it is for the Wii U. Like, people were like, oh, they saw the stuff, like they saw the marketing stuff for the Switch, and they were like all over it. And they were like, guys, there's still nothing for this console, and you guys are all jumping. Why didn't you buy the last console? Like, if you were so excited for it, why didn't you buy the last console? Then maybe they wouldn't have had to make another console. But now it's like everyone's on the bandwagon, and they're like, switch. Like it's like. So yeah, it makes sense for them, but it just like you're pitching a group of people who are want you to show me something, and if you're like, okay, we got something new and exciting, Smash, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, like, it's gonna sound like I think that they need at least 1 or 2 more years before they're like, yes, we're gonna do Smash 5, because they have not had
I agree. Yeah,
but I think. Yeah, it's just I'm not trying to say like from a business standpoint, I think it's one that makes sense because it's going to sell units, because, you know, Wii U sales were not spectacular. And that's all I'm saying. It's like, I think it's one of those things that they know the hype's there, so why not build the hype? And maybe they'll include one extra DLC character. Shantae, please. Shantae, please. I'm not biased or anything. I don't want Shantae for Smash. Hashtag Shantae for Smash. But yeah, no, it's. If it's there, I'm not going to be surprised. But if it's not there, I'm also not going to be surprised. Quilter, you get me. Shantae's all over my overlay. But yeah, no, it's what I guess, because I said that's something I'd want to see, but it's like it is and it isn't. Like, I think that, I don't want it to be like, oh, look at all these like new things. It's like remaking The Last of Us to the PS4, that didn't make much sense to me.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Like, and I can see that same argument, but it's like when you had sales numbers as low as the Wii U, it's sort of like, maybe if you know that they're going to be bigger, then kind of bring it over to the Switch, because it's a game in the lineup, and it's not resource intensive to do so. Is all I'm saying.
I feel it's great for the people that didn't buy a Wii U, but it's terrible for the people that bought a Wii U.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And yet I still plop $60 down on
Now.
because people on Mixer were people on Beam then were playing it that are still playing it on Mixer now, and I wanted to play with them because I wanted to play Mario Kart with Buttercup.
Now here's
There's
the
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Here's the E3, like, just pulling it out of nowhere, you know, just like Xbox saying backwards compatibility. Nintendo announces, boom, cross-platform. Wii U and Wii and
dude,
Switch.
the Wii's dead. Nah,
come on, man.
The Wii is dead. Like there's no cross nothing. They're you know, they might say they're bringing back F-Zero, you know, a full version, like a new kind of like F-Zero, not a remake, just like a whole new
F-Zero. We want Star Tropics.
I'll be honest, that'd be like the sickest drop. Like, yes, we're bringing. That'd be so amazing.
Because do you think they would drop an F-Zero after, like, hey, by the way, here's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Oh, by the way, here's another racer. Just gonna sneak in F-Zero.
But when was the last time an F-Zero game came out? Like,
who cares?
That was on the GameCube, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The last time that's a
because
long wait.
So, kind of talking again about like Nintendo design philosophy is like apparently, in an interview, someone asked Miyamoto about making a new F-Zero game, and his sort of response is, "Why? We've sort of accomplished what we want to out of that." Like to him, the idea of just rehashing the same concept over and over again to a certain extent was like, if there's nothing new to present, then why make it? The game's already out there. So, I think at this point, the only reason to do an F-Zero game is that there hasn't been one in a while, and maybe you want to make a shiny new updated version. But also sometimes you look at what the shiny updated version was, and then you get Star Fox Zero.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it.
So that's
man,
yeah.
Down
So
there, Murph.
Yeah, and I didn't play Star Fox Zero, but like I'm just kind of like, even just from the reviews, I'm like, I loved Star Fox. Everyone loves Star Fox 64, and it's one of those franchises that's been like floundering for so long. And this, I don't know which is worse, like whether Star Fox or Metroid right now is Nintendo's Sonic.
Ouch.
I think it's more Star Fox because Metroid only had like one major bomb under its belt, and Nintendo treated it like the goddamn Green Lantern movie. Like, that never happened. What are you talking about?
No.
But Star Fox has had this like kind of up and down movement of like, oh, this game's okay, this game's decent, that game's terrible, this game's all right. But at the end of the day, it's like it still has not ever caught up to that one golden moment.
I think it's hard to rehash certain things that had magic. You know, like Star Fox was designed in a certain ways, you know, with the polygons and shaped like that, and it made it magical because they shaped those polygons into what looked like a ship. Now, if you give me something that looks like a sweet ass spaceship because you have all these pixels, well, you're kind of taking away from what I sort of expected, and you can't give me this new fancy spaceship and give me that shitty ass controls.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, you're pulling me away from what I fell in love with in the first game, and you're just giving me just a basic shooter now with those characters. So, I think it's difficult to rehash some of that stuff. Like,
yeah.
And again, our memories of that stuff are sometimes better than what those things are, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time.
Oh shit. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. It's got some flaws, but
10 out of 10.
So, Zorbs, if you wanted Nintendo to announce something, what would your what would you like? Bionic Commando?
To be honest, they've kind of already announced what I want, which is another Mario game or Mario game, depending on
Mario.
Mario. I want a new Mario game.
I want that new
Mario.
Mario Brothers.
It's a me.
It's a
me,
me.
Torbsy. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. Although the reveal of that game left me a little cold. I don't know about those real people walking around this. That looked
Speaking of Sonic,
like there's no other way to say it. That looked fucked. Like because like Mario is a human, right? Like he's a human being, and then what are these other people walking around? Like, why does he look so different, and why is he tiny? And it just was the weirdest fucking thing. I don't even, and that's why I keep calling it New Donk City, because that one shot, it just kind of still blows my mind. Of like,
I mean, the rest of the game looks.
I
like
hope it's just like a
phenomenal,
fever dream at the very beginning of the game, and then they're like, okay, this is what the game really is.
Return to Subcon, Super Mario Land, Super Mario 2, Electric Boogaloo.
But to be devil's advocate, how many times has Nintendo released something where you're like, what the fuck? And then somehow it just magically gels together and you're like, this is fucking amazing.
So, if I can I tell a story? I'm sorry, Zorbs.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So, this is my interesting story. So back in the day,
that was a long
they
time
released
ago.
a trailer for a brand new game called The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, and everyone's like, "Dear God, Nintendo, what did you do to Zelda?" Like everyone flipped out. I was like, "What? Okay, whatever." And then in the meantime, while waiting for Wind Waker to come out, I played 2 games. One was Pikmin. I was like, "Okay, the cartoony aesthetic. I will trust in Miyamoto. Miyamoto is awesome, and I will trust him and Aonuma to do something spectacular with this thing." And the other game I played was called Kingdom Hearts. And when I played Kingdom Hearts, every preconceived notion that I had like developed in my teenage years, because I think I was like about like 19, 20 when that game came out, like just like shut out. I was like, okay, games can be whatever they want to be. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it may look weird as long as Mario is Mario. Great, and I have a fantastic platforming experience. They can put whatever the heck they want.
That's a valid point. Kingdom Hearts shouldn't have been good.
No,
and yet
Kingdom Hearts, by all accounts, should have been like,
like
why
this
did
is
you do
dumb.
this, Square Enix? And I'm like, why is this game more amazing than it has any right to be?
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 because that will sell a PS3 4 into my house, and I'm like, Square, please, can I have Kingdom Hearts 3? Speaking of other conferences, God, please, I want Kingdom Hearts 3 news so bad. So bad. I squealed like a schoolgirl when they first announced it. I was like, ah!
It'll come out in the next 2 or 3 years. That's
2.75.
Bostiva's butt has become a toddler. Yo, growing up so fast.
So fast.
So fast. Yeah, so anyway.
So Mario, New Donk City, eh?
New Donk City.
I mean, I need to know more about that game. I need to see it,
Now, one of my favorite 64 games, which a lot of people called a big stinker, which I absolutely loved, was Quest 64. And I loved that mechanic of having, you're fighting a creature, but it was like this circular, you can only move so far, and it was so much better than just being like, hey man, I'm gonna use my rod and I'm gonna use my sword, and you know what I mean. I thought the RPG feeling, but with that new mechanic, was awesome.
So apparently this was in Japan. It was made by Imagineer, and it was published by Imagineer developed it, but then it was published by THQ in North America,
Yes.
Konami in Europe, and then Imagineer in Japan. Who knows?
That game they need to remake that game. That mechanic was the shit. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I could go down a whole rabbit hole of interesting JRPGs, but let's keep on topic with Nintendo E3.
Nintendo, but that's what I'm saying. They need to drop.
Yeah, I know.
New RPG.
Because you always want that left field announcement. And you're like, what? Why?
No, totally.
Okay.
I think that's why there's a love for new IPs.
Yeah, because it comes out of nowhere.
They come out of nowhere and they excite you. Like, all right, something new is gonna happen. But then, I mean, I don't want to shit on Quantum Break, but it was like Quantum Break had this feeling like it was going to be this whole new thing, and because it was like a new mechanic of stopping time and doing all that stuff, but it never. I don't feel like it delivered.
Quantum
Right?
Break was fun. It wasn't amazing, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
But it was no.
But it
City.
wasn't revolutionary in any way. Like it was just, I mean, it was that had some time again.
I missed out on that game. Delish.
Ish.
And what
Okay,
about
so
what? Go ahead.
I was going to move on to another question.
Go for it.
Okay. So what do we think? Are they going to show anything for 3DS? Are they like? I had a feeling that Nintendo was playing it kind of conservatively, and because when they released the Switch, they were like, no, the 3DS is still one of our pillars and whatnot. And I think it was just they were doing that to kind of like, if this thing sells as poorly as the Wii U, we still can fall back on the 3DS, which is still popular. But now that the Switch has become it's a hit, do they kind of say like, well, we don't really need the 3DS, and the Switch is portable, so
Did they announce?
why have both of these portable things, and why would we? Why would you make a game for the inferior product?
Yeah, I mean, here's what I had to think about the 3DS at the current is it's been around long enough that I think that it's going to be hitting its final strides here in the next year or so. And there were, because the transition from Wii U to Switch was so harsh. I mean, I've never seen a console that was like that cut off, that harsh. Like Wii U done, Switch go. Like that was
the original Xbox probably is the only.
Yeah, like so they're definitely, because they weren't sure what the hype was going to be. They didn't know how it was going to sell. So there probably has to be a good chunk of games from at least them or other developers, because they do have the third-party support, that is going to linger on the 3DS for the next year or two before they're definitively, okay, no, we're phasing out the 3DS in favor of full Switch mode. Because they did say that they did start merging console development teams and mobile development teams. So I think somewhere in there, that's definitely going to phase down. And I think the one thing that would definitely be, yes, here comes the death nail coffin for the 3DS, and possibly that's going to be, yeah, like we're done with the 3DS and we're full on committed to the Switch, is if a Pokemon game is announced and it's for the Switch only.
Yes.
Because
that'll do it.
I don't think anyone's expecting Pokemon for the Switch this year. That would be the left field announcement to me. And I think overall that is, like that would be like the biggest kick in the nuts to the 3DS. Like, hey, we're doing the Sun and Moon like upmake for whatever generation is next to this current thing, and that'll probably be it. And then after that, they'll be like, okay, brand new smack dab, here you go, Pokemon on the 3DS on the Switch.
But didn't Niantic said this was the last? Like Sun and Moon was going to be the last.
You mean Pokemon Company?
Pokemon Company. Sorry.
Yeah.
Herpaderp.
Herpaderp.
Pokemon Go was going to be the last game that Niantic ever makes. No, Pokemon Company was saying that was going to be the last Pokemon game for portable.
It could be. It very well could be. And I think, and like, because I will always admit, like, yeah,
it can't be the last one.
It can't be.
You can't take it away from me.
You can't keep making these animals and just twisting their names a little bit. Fishy face.
Fishy face.
Abra cadabra.
Anyway,
Alakazam.
Yeah, like when the definitive mobile games that like are associated with Nintendo platforms or handheld platforms are going to be switching into the Switch, that is like, okay, no, we're expecting like 3DS is coming to a close, but there have to be enough things in production either from Nintendo or third parties to say the 3DS is going to hold on for the next year or two. So I would not be surprised if the 3DS is relegated. Hey, here we got some stuff coming for the 3DS, and you get a sizzle rather than like, here's the game. Like, you might get one big game announcement for the 3DS, I think. But I think for the most part, they're going to relegate it to a sizzle reel because Switch is where it's at. 3DS has been out long enough now that they don't need to hype it up as much.
But why?
If you don't have a 3DS, what's wrong with you?
Why announce a 2DS then? Like, why drop another cheap portable system? Because there's enough used games around.
Because it's still cheaper. Yeah,
it's still cheaper than Switch, and there's still a ton of games out there for people who didn't have a 3DS before. So I think when you offer those lower price points, I think it's saying like, yes, no, it like there's a whole nother set of kids out there who didn't have a 3DS or a 2DS, so they want to get Pokemon. So because Pokemon. Well, System Seller Deluxe is what that shit is.
Well, and that's we talk about people trading in games and stuff like that, but like it does. If you keep giving me hardware that will allow me to play, your used games, then that you're essentially keeping that market alive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and they profit off of it because they sell their games. They continue to sell their games at full price and never put them on sale. So, if I keep pumping out hardware, then people will buy the used games, but still need hardware to play that stuff.
They could also be releasing new hardware to those gaps that hackers have got into. Like the 3DS is
not the most secure thing in the world.
It's not the most secure thing in the world. Like
but neither is the 2DS. I think.
Well, that's what I mean. It's it's a losing battle, but yeah, I don't know. That's another reason why I think they want to move away from it. Finally, just be like, okay, let's move to something that's a little bit more secure. I mean, I assume the Switch is more secure.
Yeah, I think probably the reason to release the 2DS XL is just mostly for they know there's still a good. I mean, because even after you kill a console, like the Wii U they're not making anything else for it, but in a year, like in 6 months, they're going to be so cheap at GameStop used because they're going to flood in, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people who are picking up some of the games. They're going to pick up Mario Kart. They're going to pick up Mario 3D World. They're going to pick up Donkey Kong. They're going to pick up Smash Bros. They're going to pick up all these things, and it still has a life cycle. So whether they get used Switches or new or used Wii U's or old or cheaper new Wii U's, it doesn't really matter. I'm like, there's still some life in the machine, just not in the games market for releases. Some people are behind by a console generation because that's all they can afford, or maybe that's like they don't need to have all the hottest releases. You can wait, 5 years before doing that.
Who are those people, and where do we kick them in the ass? Because
get them.
I don't know, because it ain't me.
No,
I will note, I am a 3DS ambassador.
Oh shit!
If you remember that shit.
Yes, I do remember that. What free game did you pick?
No, they didn't make me pick a free game. They gave you, I think it was 20 free games for the virtual console.
That's right. Yes.
And some of them are only ever available through that program. So, like, I think there were the games released for either the Game Boy Advance or the NES set that never came out on the eShop. You can only ever get them that way. So yeah, I bought that. I bought a 3DS when they were brand new, super expensive, and no one was buying them. And I've had 3 3DSs. I had an original 3DS. I had an original 3DS. I've had a 3DS because I'm that much of a corporate shell.
We got the right guy for this show.
Right, perfect. Nintendo, listen up.
Nintendo, listen up. I won't be afraid to admit it. I got the fanboy.
So when's the last time you played 3DS?
Right before Breath of the Wild came out, because I was playing Pokemon Moon. So not that long ago. I haven't touched it since.
And did you like Pokemon Moon?
Oh, I did, and that's an interesting bit because, like, I hadn't, like, every couple generations I'd play a brand new Pokemon game, because I played for like a week or 2 or 3 and be like, okay, grindy. It's super grindy and I don't really care for it, and I just like go back and trade it in whatever. Like, this is the first Pokemon game, and since the original game, and I'm like, I want to play more Pokemon. I'm having so much fun with this game. It's so good. So they really, I don't know what they did to change it and make it more interesting, but it didn't feel nearly as grindy. I didn't feel as annoyed playing it, and I'm like, okay, I really love it. I love the new setting. It was great.
That's cool.
So I don't think about high praise for that iteration of the series because it got me to love Pokemon again. So yeah.
So let's move on to that other question we were going to talk about with third party support. How do we feel? Do we think that more third party are going to show up to this Switch party and start supporting it? Like the fact that they showed us Skyrim for the console. Like, is that really third party supporting the console? Like, are we going to see, Ubisoft? I don't know.
Ubisoft will be there. They're always there. Like,
Yeah.
if you make a new console, Ubisoft is like, we'll give you 3 games, easy.
Yeah.
We'll give you a
Because
Red Steel. We'll give you a Rabbids game.
Okay, I'm going to have my one note about Ubisoft Wii U that both annoys me and doesn't annoy me, which is that Rayman Legends was supposed to be a Wii U exclusive,
Yes.
and they bombed it. Like, it got super delayed. Like, oh no, we're bringing it out to everything. And I'm what? Like, I'm not upset because I got a Wii U, but then I got to play it on PC. But I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, you said it was going to be exclusive, and then you pulled the rug out from under Nintendo. And then, like, after that, they're like, no, we're not going to support the Wii U. And then, like, at that point, I was like, what?
Was that a numbers thing? Was that like
I don't know.
it just
I
didn't
have
sell enough, and they were like, "Wait a minute, we're gonna sell this thing exclusively to a console that sold 1 million units in like 3 months. Like, we're in trouble."
That's very possible, and yeah.
Well, and the fact that there has to be some kind of agreement in place when you're doing an exclusive. Like,
Yeah,
if Ubisoft, I don't think could easily just pull the rug out without some consequences, unless
Sure, there was
they,
some.
like, okay, guys, you didn't hold up your side of the bargain and sell 2 million consoles by year end. So, that game was fucking excellent.
There was a lot of people
Yeah.
super pissed about that though. When
Oh yeah.
Microsoft announced it was coming to other consoles, like there were some seriously pissed off people.
So you want to talk about super pissed because something got canceled. One of the main reasons I bought a 3DS that early was because they'd announced Mega Man Legends 3 for it.
Ouch.
But you're ambassador, so it doesn't really matter
doesn't
anymore.
care.
You're an
I don't care
ambassador.
now. I'm an ambassador.
The
I
pain
have
goes
that.
away.
I have that mark of loyalty. But yeah, I think I don't know if I don't know how strong third-party support will be at this E3 because it's really young into the life cycle. But the fact that so many third parties, like, they've had their hands on dev kits, they really like it, and they're like, okay, the hype is here. So I don't know if it'll be strong because they haven't had time to do development, but I definitely think there will be probably more third-party support than had been there had been on the Wii U in previous years. It's a new console, so people are going to be ready to board the hype train, as it were.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll be like super strong because not enough time has passed since the console came out and the Wii U had that tumultuous relationship. But I do think that the more third-party support they can get on, especially from the big guns, definitely Ubisoft. And as much as I loathe them, EA is exceedingly important.
Yes.
And
FIFA Switch.
Yeah, FIFA Switch. And I think, and because that's one of the things, I think if the Switch is truly going to live up to its promise of being a truly mobile home console, like, EA Sports has the potential to freaking dominate on the Switch, because if you've got two friends with Switches, you can get together and like play goddamn FIFA wherever you want to on 2 different systems, like that kind of shit. And I think that'll go a long.
And I mean, what's the feature on DS where you and your friends can play together and only one person has the game?
Oh, like the download play?
Yeah. Now
I don't know. I can't remember what the specific name is, but yeah, like because I own a copy of the Star Fox 64 3D. Sorry, God damn it, comics.
Sorry, comics.
Sorry, comics.
You're on mobile. That's your own problem.
That's your own problem.
Oh shit! You guys are ice cold.
Yeah, it's cold. That's what you get for making, like, it's the 1 year anniversary of Harambe. Put your dicks out on my Discord. And I was like, put your dicks away, you dicks. Anyway,
download play.
Say what? Yeah,
Download play.
So I have Star Fox 64 3D on my 3DS, and if my friend has a 3DS and he wants to play that with me, he doesn't have to have the game. He just downloads it. So I don't know if that feature is going to be applicable to the Switch, but that'd be super awesome.
But if they added that, and EA came to the table and was like, "Okay, man, FIFA 2099, fucking download play for the Switch," that would kill.
Totally.
They still have to get over the FIFA Switch edition. That bothers me. It's like, hey, here's NHL 19, here's FIFA 2019 and Madden 2019, and then here's Madden Switch. You're like, wait, what? there's got to be a major difference that you're not calling it the same thing that you're calling the other consoles. Like that, to me, that's a sign that it's like
there's different features.
It's different features, or there's certain things that can't be done on this system that can be done on the other systems. Like that, I don't know. Worrisome. Well, let's say that. I mean, it's still FIFA at the end of the day, but weird that you're not getting the.
It's all like, this is always weird because, like, this is the problem. Like, there's enough similarity between PC and Xbox and PS4 to say, okay, yeah, we can easily cross-platform this, but sometimes, like, Nintendo just does something just a little bit different with their architecture that's sort of like, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's great for innovation, but then if you know, and not that Nintendo would want this, maybe they don't want this, but like to get Call of Duty to run on a Switch, like how many things are they going to have to compromise on to get it to run on that?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess it was also a question of, like, do they even want Call of Duty on Switch? There's a certain amount that says yes, they do, because it brings sales. On the same token, it's like maybe they don't because people aren't going to buy a Switch to play Call of Duty.
That's right. Yeah. And that's kind of like why I said, like, is third party really important, when I have the feeling that that Nintendo consoles tend to be like your second console, and you get it to play Nintendo games.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get it so that you can play Dead Rising on it. Like,
yeah,
no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
But isn't that the selling feature? Isn't that wasn't that what gets you to buy certain consoles? Like, I can only afford one console. I'm only going to buy.
So you're going to get the one that has the most games that you want to play on it.
Well, exactly. So
if you're getting a second one, that's your second one. You're not buying. Well, unless you're me, you're not buying a PS4 and then an Xbox One, because it's like, well, these are basically the same.
Exactly, comics. Why would anyone play COD on the Switch?
Why would anyone play COD? But
you
that's a
could
whole
hang
other
out
story.
on the rooftop, and one guy could have a controller, and then the other guy will have another little knuckler controller, and you could play on the same tiny screen on the rooftop, and then the loser gets to jump off the edge.
at the park.
I will say this. If they put COD or any other FPS on the Switch, it would stop screen peeking.
There you go.
So yeah. So I think I've always kind of had this like weird relationship with third-party support on Nintendo consoles, because the reason I buy Nintendo consoles is to play Nintendo first-party games, and I think that's what a lot of people do. And I am truly an advocate of saying I think a PC and a Nintendo console is a fantastic combination, because a lot of the experiences you can expect on the Xbox or on the PlayStation tend to coincide with a PC. While you may not necessarily get those things, like you're not going to get Horizon on PC, you're going to miss on those exclusives, like Horizon or Halo or whatever, and that's one thing. But like, you're only ever going to get Nintendo games on Nintendo consoles, and even the most ardent of gamers, I think, would always tell you, Nintendo always at least makes decent games. They're always fun and enjoyable in something like, okay, they're doing a good job. Like when a major Nintendo first party game comes out, you're like, okay, it's probably going to be at least a B plus. You know, for the most part.
It always has my attention. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah, it'll always have your attention no matter
okay,
what.
let's check this out.
But that's the biggest flaw with Nintendo though, because
it's
not like you're giving
greatest
me
strength
first
and their
party
greatest
games.
flaw.
Yeah, you're not giving me first party games on a regular basis. So
you need something to fill in the void.
Yeah,
also, as a third party, you're going in saying, "Why am I making games for this system when nobody cares about my games? They're only caring about the Nintendo
first party games." Yeah.
So yeah, and I think third party support is important to the lifeblood of the console. Otherwise, you end up with a Wii U situation. So you want the third parties there. They are definitely worthwhile to have. But on the same token, it's like, is the console going to quote unquote live or die by having third parties? Probably not, because usually first party Nintendo is enough to at least garner enough interest to say the console will sell. The Wii U can, for the most part, yes, can be considered a general failure, but you gotta remember, it's still like, it's not, that's in comparison to like every other console ever made, where it's like, oh, but still like, it's not the Virtual Boy level of failure.
Right.
It still did.
It's still sold.
It's still sold. They're like, you could walk into a GameStop at any point during its life cycle and pick one up, and that was that. But like, at least they were still selling, and they had games coming out, and people were actively interested in getting it. I'm sure if they had more third-party support, yes, the sales would have been even better. But the other thing, of course, is Nintendo's like a 100-plus-year-old company that has money out the wazoo and other investments, and they could make another 5 Wii U's before they're in financial trouble.
Well, yeah, the rumors about the amount of money they do have is insane. So like,
yeah,
I'm happy that Nintendo's not going anywhere anytime soon. But you want,
but I don't want them. Yeah, I don't want to have another Wii U situation. I want third party support because, because here's the Sorry,
I have a firm belief that consoles sell not necessarily because of the games. It's just a where my friends are buying consoles is where I'm going to buy. Was what's going to sell consoles. So I think people are going to, if people are buying Nintendos, it's because there's third-party support and my friends are playing these games. So, yeah.
Comics, don't insult my Wii U. No.
Don't talk to me or my son again.
Don't talk to me or my son. It was a good console. It wasn't the best. No. But it was okay.
I think we've said a lot. Like when we talk about Nintendo, we say it a lot. We want Nintendo to succeed. We want them to make. They have a gamer's best interest at heart. If there's any console that I feel like is a console for gamers, or it's Nintendo. Like they're dropping games, they're trying new things. Like as much as I wanted to shit on the Wii at the beginning with their stupid motion controls. They're the ones that had the balls to do it. You know what I mean? Like they're throwing up. Yeah, and then the next thing you know, it fucking. Nintendo or like Xbox and PlayStation are like, oh fuck, we got to do this motion controls, and they're like, let's just try to be innovative. So they invented Kinect, and fucking PlayStation invented those fucking Move controllers, and it was nowhere near, they were better probably than, more accurate than the Wii, but it didn't have the same Nintendo that we wanted. So Nintendo has everyone's heart, so it's they need to support it, and they just need to start doing it right.
It's I think it's in every gamer's best interest, no matter how they feel about them, for Nintendo to actually succeed, because in a strange way, I think Nintendo sort of has the potential to be a canary in the mine. If Nintendo fails, then what? Who's going to fill their shoes with Sony and Microsoft always doing the same old thing?
Sega.
Sega.
That would be interesting if Sega got back into the hard. So, and I don't mean that to like riff on Sony or Microsoft, because there's a very obvious catering to, which is the supposed quote unquote hardish core gamers, where they do have some interesting and varied experiences, but no one pushes the envelope nearly as much as Nintendo does, except for maybe indie devs. But Nintendo has the financial backing to do some really amazing stuff. And yes, some of it has been phenomenally successful like the Wii, and some of it has been less successful like the Virtual Boy. But the fact that they're willing to go out on a leg and say, let's at least try and do something different, even if it shoots us in the foot. Because if we do it right, we do something good for the medium and it pushes it forward, and we've created new experiences for people to try. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Just as it's not a bad thing necessarily maintain the status quo, but sometimes the status quo needs a good shaking. And while Sony and Microsoft can and have done that, I mean, Halo was a literal game changer for first shooters, and that was more Bungie than it was Microsoft. But it's not that common, and you always need someone there. Yes, let's just do it. Let's just go and do something crazy. And if the craziness continues to fail over and over again, then all you get is the same thing over and over, then we're all going to lose interest over time. It's all just the same stuff.
But like, is the Switch Nintendo's way of saying, hey, we're still around? Because the Switch is really not even that innovative.
It's not that innovative, I think, but I think it definitely is. It takes Nintendo's definitive strong suit is no one beat Nintendo at handheld ever. Sony tried desperately and just lost horrifically,
terribly.
And
who would have thought the PSP would have failed?
But on the same
saw
token,
both those. You see both those consoles though, the DS and the PSP. Like, come on. Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. So, and I think overall, it's like, I think the Switch is a merging of those two things. It is that I think Will was right that it is a certain amount of, hey, we're still here. It sort of re-kicks the tires, saying, yes, Nintendo's still around, and we're going to do something crazy, which is good, because imagine if you could take your Xbox One with you. Like, that's like thought. Like,
I'm
no
listening.
one ever thought
I'm
of
listening.
It. Yeah, exactly.
Go on.
I can literally everyone's like, oh, I can go have my 3DS and go play Link Between Worlds. Everyone, no one ever thought in the world you'd ever be able to play Breath of the Wild anywhere you could go. Like, that's insane. That is an insane idea. And I think the hardware finally got to the point that they could do that. And Nintendo can merge those two worlds. Yeah, I know they didn't lose that hard in Japan. The Vita is actually phenomenally popular. But Nintendo's market is being shaken up.
Just saying.
Yeah. But Nintendo's market in the mobile space is being threatened, of course, by, smartphones. So you have to do something to shake it up. And I think the Switch is a perfect answer, saying we can make a console and we can make it succeed in the space where we work best. We can still make phenomenal Nintendo experiences that we're used to having. And then you can take any of those experiences, no matter how powerful they are, anywhere you go.
Now, you kind of briefly touched on it, but it was kind of a question I wanted to ask. We're talking about third-party support. We're talking about mobile game. Does the Switch... Do we not feel like the Switch is prime for the indie market? Like,
I think it's super prime.
I think
it's so super prime.
I think if this just got put in the hands, like, I've seen it on a bunch of reviews on Steam, where it's like, can you make this for the Switch? Can you make for this? I think Nintendo could really capitalize if they were like, hey, fuck, here's how you develop easily for the Switch, and just start fucking pumping that stuff, making it super available for. I think people would go fucking shit banana crazy for it. Like, that's the mic drop. Boom. By the way, developing indie games for the Switch. Poof. You know what I mean? Because we can't keep relying on Miyamoto to make us new games. So
yeah,
if third party AAA titles aren't going to be developed for this, then give me something, make me a market. Like you have the Nintendo Store, you have you have digital downloads. Like you're ready for this. Like let's pull the cork. Let the shit hit the fan. Like no.
Yeah, it's like because I've it's weird to say like the only group of developers who have more of a Nintendo sensibility than Nintendo themselves are indie developers.
Exactly.
Look at how many indie games draw inspiration from old school Nintendo classics. Like, when you play a 16-bit sort of retro game, does it look like a Sega game? No, it looks like a Super Nintendo game.
Stardew Valley.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I definitely feel like Nintendo just needs to latch onto indies as much as fucking, and they do. They have the Nindies program, and
I hated that name.
What, Nindies?
Nindies. I was like, fuck off.
Anyway, but yeah, it's like yeah, and comics does a point. I was like, because this is a general problem with Nintendo that I think a lot of people kind of miss out on. Like, everyone tends to view Nintendo is like, there's sort of a conflict there where like Nintendo of America understands things for the American market a lot better than Nintendo Japan does, but Nintendo Japan still has the final say. Like the whole freaking YouTube content creators debacle, like, yo, if you have a Nintendo game, we're going to take all of your funding. Yeah. That's not NOA. NOA embraces YouTube to the hills. Like, they send out the games. They love those guys. They have them for events. They realize how important promoting it is. But Nintendo of Japan doesn't get it. They don't. And so I don't think, because I don't know how popular indie games are in Japan. So I think that mindset is a problem for them. It's going to bite them in the butt if they don't get their heads around it. Like, Reggie just needs to go over there and beat, I don't even know who the new president's name is. And Peter says, like, you need the indies. The indies in America will sell you consoles because people are ready for it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I haven't played Stardew Valley yet. I have it, but I might actually pick it up for the Switch because I can go play anywhere I want to. I can't do that on a PC. I can't.
There was a big backlash with Rhyme because it's $10 more expensive on the Wii, or on the Switch rather, which is a real bummer. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's just like, wait, it's the same, and it's not like, well, this is the revised version. It's like, no, it's just more expensive on the Switch.
Yeah, and that's just one of the things. Yeah, I mean, Comics brings up a good point. Yeah, I don't know what the fee is. It ain't cheap, and I've heard they've had issues because there's only a dev kits, and like, no, we got to give these to the big guys because they're the ones that are going to put the titles out there. Yeah, indies are going to, indies are sweet, but they're not console sellers. But if you have enough indies, a single indie game alone is not going to net you a console seller, unless you happen to make the next Minecraft and it happens to launch on a Switch. That ain't going to happen. But if God, I lost my train of thought there. But if you have enough indies, like if you get all the indie, a ton of indie games on board that are high caliber indie games, then those will sell your consoles like gangbusters because people are like, I can play any of these indie games anywhere I want to.
Yeah, but in the same aspect as Apple iTunes, like Apple wasn't a music distributor, or they weren't, but here they're giving you a way to distribute games and make a little profit off the side of it, and it's it makes them a huge amount of money. Like if Nintendo Nintendo has nothing but more than to profit from it. Hey, even people, I think make it easier for you to develop these indie games for my console. Skim a bit of money off the side of them. Like not even like we're saying that it's already bad, but if they found a smarter way to do it, you have more content for your console. You're making money off of it. It's a win-win for them. Like, how can they not see that it's beyond?
Yeah, it's or at the very least, if possible, get some sort of app. Yeah, or if you can get some sort of application that says,
"Wow."
Yeah. So if you get some sort of application that says, here, just plug your game in here if you made it for Steam, and see if it'll convert into a Switch compatible format. and then just like have it just literally port into the Switch. I mean, as long as people are willing to pay whatever the fee is, and like it's like as long as it doesn't cost anything to develop for the Switch, that's still a win-win for those developers to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And Nintendo gets all their indies on board. And I think out of all the systems, I mean, yes, Sony has theirs and Microsoft has theirs, but I think if indies have a place to flourish on a console, Nintendo's where it could be, because that is going to be, I think, the experience that people expect. And I think because Nintendo was not necessarily the first to embrace the indies, but they've done a pretty good job in the past, even though but I think as always, yeah, exactly. It's, Shawshank's got a point there. It's like, yeah, it's if you can just people, pay a quick $10, get a game they can play in a day or two and be done with it and move on, then that's great.
You're more likely to spend that $10, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an impulse buy. $10 is nothing. Like whatever,
Yeah.
I'll play this even if I don't like it. It's like, it's all right.
You remember when Castle Crashers came out and it was like $20? It's like, whoa, hey, $20, woo, that's rich.
Yeah.
And then like $9.99 seems to be a sweet spot, and that's even if I developed a game and I only sold 10,000 copies at $10 a piece, or if I even say I only make 50% of that, like that's more than I could have ever hoped for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And especially if they put it on Nintendo, people who have who have a Switch will be like, fuck, I want more games. I'm willing to bet people that have Switches will be like, fuck, I want more games for this console, and will more likely be willing to spend that money. But
the eShop right now is pretty sparse. So, I mean, because
it's still early days, but still,
it's still early days. Yeah, and it's like there's a certain amount, like I like with Nintendo, I love being an early adopter because it's sort of like I get to support the platform because I always want Nintendo to succeed. It's the fanboy in me. But I will always give Nintendo shit where they deserve to get shit, like YouTube or the fact that their indie costs are too high or something like that. I think that there are certain decisions that Nintendo still treats themselves like a Japanese company, not a global company.
Yeah.
And that's usually where they shoot themselves in the foot more often. And that's something that's where Sony totally beats them. They go, we do Japan, but we also do everywhere else. And they know how to do it.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So, and I don't ever really need Nintendo to be number one or even number two. They can be number three. Number three is fine, even if it's a three-way race, as long as they're still succeeding in some capacity.
But you still have to supplement with another console.
I supplement with the PC.
Or the PC.
Yeah. I don't think you need to supplement Nintendo with another console. You can supplement Nintendo with a PC or vice versa. A Nintendo is a perfect supplement to a PC because I'm not going to get those experiences. Because the experiences I want are on Nintendo, and that's just how it always is going.
For me, it's like I think I appreciate the fact that everyone wants to be the best.
Yeah,
like I want, like as much as I don't agree that Sony is a great console, I love that they try to be the best and they pitch themselves to be the best, and I hate that Nintendo sits on the sidelines going, "Hey guys, we got Mario." And it's just like, no, man, fucking.
Yeah, I know. No.
I want you to be I want you to talk to me like as if you're the number one. Like, like, hey, we don't need to do 4K. Hey, we don't need to. No, man. Like, try to impress me. Tell me I'm your number one. Like I'm your number one. I'm your favorite child. Like, tell me that. And I don't feel like Nintendo goes their way to do that. Do you know what I mean? So it's
yeah. You're gonna love it.
You're gonna take my fucking. My rotten steak and you're gonna fucking eat it. I'm just gonna call this more Mario. I think the Switch is overpriced.
Damn, Shawshank bringing the heat on the Switch.
It's.
The thing is that the Wii, like we're going back to the Wii, there was a lot of hype behind that and it died. But after it sold, how many consoles?
Yeah, so many consoles.
Yeah, but the thing is that they
were still the number one that generation. They were still number one that generation.
Yeah, but they didn't. They word perfect it where it's like, here's our fucking console and this is going to be the guess. You know what I mean? Like you didn't give me where like Nintendo is like not Nintendo, Microsoft. It's like here's our console. What you don't like our UI? Hey, let's change it. Here, let's What else do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Let's change it. Let's change it. You know what I mean? Like, they're always willing to change things, whereas Nintendo is like force feeding you something and being like, stuff it down your throat. But you have to conform in some ways. You have to. It's a relationship you're talking about here. We both have to work on this. Like, give me something more of something that I want, and we'll give you more money. Like, they have the potential. They have the platform. They have, but you're not.
Yeah, and this is one of those weird things of having played other games like Final Fantasy 11. It's a very Japanese company mentality to kind of just like, no, we're just going to do things and that's the way it is. And like they don't share the information. They don't tell you anything. They just keep it completely 100% under wraps. Like, nope, the way we do it is fine and it's okay. And that's going to be it. And that's what got them into Final Fantasy 14 1.0, which was a travesty. And then when Final Fantasy 14 2.0 came out, they're like, we're going to tell you everything and listen to all your feedback and either tell you why that's going to work or it's not going to work. We're going to have a communication. And that game ended up being fantastic. And that is where that, like, Nintendo's like super biggest fault is they still have that closed door mentality sometimes. And where Sony and Microsoft, yes, they listen to the fan base, they know what people want, and they're going to be like, okay, we're going to do our best to either make that happen or make something similar to that happen. Or Nintendo's like, no, we're just going to give you this and that's that. But at least on the same token, it's like what they give you is still a very beautifully cooked steak, as it were. It's like, it's not like I get a overcooked, well done, like grade C piece of meat.
But do they wait till we get really super salty and then fucking put Miyamoto on stage and then we go, I love Nintendo again, Miyamoto, like I just want to squeeze him.
It's so weird. Like, I can for other people I think, but yeah, it's like, but definitely for me, it's like at the end of the day, it's hard to come away like hating Nintendo for some reason.
But it's no, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I have been playing Nintendo consoles. I just turned 34, so it's been a long ride. And
34.
Yeah, I got the old manness. So it's just so weird.
Oh, here comes
and
Shaw.
like
I've been playing for 45 years.
1985, yeah. I was born in 1983. the year games crashed was the year.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's. I mean, some of it's nostalgia, some of it is maybe blind loyalty, but it's like, like I love Nintendo and I love the legacy they have built, and I always want to see Nintendo succeed because they have a good night comics, because it's just that's what I've grown up in and around. I've never not owned a Nintendo console since the first one. I've owned an NES, an SNES, N64, GameCube, Wii.
Wow,
Wii
you never
U.
jumped. Okay.
I never jumped. I've had other consoles, but I've always owned a Nintendo console. The only periods where I've never not owned one is like in the span where I traded in one and then bought a new one. Like that was it. Like aside from that, it's been a 29 un-year broken streak of Nintendo console ownership.
That's why we have you here. We wanted
exactly. And now I'm in the process of going back and finding, old consoles to now have a collection and buy old games because that's what I want to have.
So for you, I want E3 to be the year that Nintendo steps out and is like, fuck, games for everybody.
Yeah. Like, this is going to sound weird. I want, not necessarily, maybe not this year, but maybe definitely next year, is a presentation from Nintendo that rivaled Sony's presentation from last year, where it was an hour and a half ride of, look, games, motherfuckers. Like, that was it. There was no, like, they weren't, like, bullshitting around. It wasn't even a hint of, like, look at all of our gigaflops and pixels and this
Not
awesome.
one
like,
goddamn
games. I was like, okay, good job, Sony. That's, like, the best conference I've seen in years. That was amazing. Like, I'm not afraid to admit, I've had, I mean, because I could probably, like, I had an Xbox, I had an Xbox 360, PS1, PS2, PS3. I dabble in everyone else. So it's like, I'm a gamer. It's what I do. I like, there are experiences on other platforms I can't get on certain platforms. And recently I moved to PC, so I haven't been so as intent on getting a PS4 or an Xbox One. But it's still it's still like lingering there in the back of my brain. I'm kind of thinking I want to play freaking Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 7 remake, even though I have more issues with Final Fantasy 7 than I do with Ocarina of Time. But that's enough. That's all of the podcast. And I love Final Fantasy. It's like so it just depends. It depends on, you know, what's out there, and you know, that's just how it is.
Episode 18, Issues with Murph.
Excellent.
Pizza
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have an interesting podcast, like it's like, hey Murph, I need you to come on and rant about Ocarina of Time for an hour and a half, because I could probably do it.
And we could put a timer on the bottom.
How long can Murph rant about Final Fantasy 7 and or Ocarina of Time? Again, it's like, and this is why I always no. Okay, no. Mitz
This is the best to this.
Mitz is right. Ocarina of Time is amazing, and when I say I have issues with it, like I'm just like, it's not the legacy that it's left behind. It's not anything like, it's just, I feel like the game is not aged nearly as well as some of its as it appears. I think Mario 64 has aged a lot better than Ocarina. But like I said, that's a whole other podcast for another day. But
all right,
Ocarina is still
still
flipping amazing. It's still a great game, at least an A-. So when I give it crap, I'm not saying like, oh my god, it's a bad game. It's just like, maybe it's not as good as you remember, and the hype just kind of needs to kind of tick it down a notch. I
can think of another Zelda game we were saying the same thing about. Hype train. So they're gonna show off Zelda DLC then at E3?
They probably will. I would imagine. Like they'll probably get because they definitely showed stuff for the first batch of DLC, and I wonder if they'll do some sort of little tease for the second set of DLC that's supposed to come later in the. Jenks, thanks for the host. So,
does Nintendo jump on the DLC train though? Like, did it like? It seems like they've been testing DLC, but haven't really. Like, it just seems like it's. You know, they're releasing it more now for the first party stuff. So,
Zelda was the first game that had a season pass.
Yeah.
Well, this new one.
Well, actually, Mario Kart 8 technically did.
Okay.
But I will always laud the way they handled DLC for Mario Kart 8 because it was goddamn amazing. You got half a game's worth of new tracks, 6 new racers for $12. You got half a brand new Mario Kart game for $12. That is the way.
Is there any way to just buy the DLC and not the game?
Wouldn't that be nice? But alas,
it was 12 tracks. I thought it was only 8.
No, it's 16 tracks because there were 2 sets of DLC. There were 4, so 4 tracks. 4 times 4 is 16 new tracks.
You're right.
I was wrong.
You're right. No, you're right. You know,
yeah.
I should never have questioned. I brought an expert here for the reason.
29 years. Like, come on now. Don't be that way.
Now, we could argue that they're new tracks, though, because they're really...
Some of them are old, redone tracks, which I do love about Mario Kart. I do like the fact they like, here, you get all the new tracks, which is great, but they also like, but here's some cool retro tracks just to kind of remind you how awesome Mario Kart has been. It's sort of a greatest hits compilation as you go forward.
It feels like Call of Duty. Here, buy this DLC, and we're just going to give you maps from the old games.
Host from Big Timmy.
I will tell you that.
I'm being raided. It's a raid. We're getting an insert coin raid.
So good.
I love that coin.
Exclamation, raider, insert coin. Theater.
Oh shit! Halo 5 Guardians. Oh shit!
Good. That's a
Tim's
good
all
game.
fancy pants.
It's a good game.
Pacific Spot is leveled up to preschooler. It's fantastic. Thank you,
Well,
thank you,
Sifa Spot
Tim.
is killing it.
Killing it.
Timmy.
Timmy. We're sitting here kind of lauding and digging into Nintendo for both good and bad reasons. So
that then we have to ask, since Timmy is the raider, we have to ask him, Timmy, E3 is coming out. They're gonna drop one piece of Nintendo news. What is that news that you want?
This is it.
what do you want to hear from Nintendo? I
do you
don't
wanna
care
hear from
about
Nintendo?
Xbox or Sony or anyone else. What Nintendo got that you want? Why is
What?
Nintendo- That is a question we've been asking all night, to be honest. Yes. What does Nintendo got that you want? Yes, I want your answer for that. What does Nintendo got that you want?
Put him on the spot. He comes in here. Put him on the spot. You guys
I don't care if
are
it's bad or good. I don't care. What does Nintendo got that you want?
As long as Timmy doesn't say like an ass plug Joy-Con, then I want to know what you want. A less
There you
terrible-
can see-
we
That's like, yeah, okay. No, that is nothing. Okay, we were given, no. I don't think that's too much to wish for. It's not too much to wish for. And I agree with you 100%. We were actually talking about that earlier because that's not
You will never
NOA's
get
problem.
it.
NOA loves content creators. They do. They really do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invited half of the Nintendo World's Championships as content
that's
creators.
exactly it, Atlas.
It's
just said.
Nintendo JP. And it's very much a Japanese way of doing things that they just don't fucking get because Nintendo at the end of the day is still based in Kyoto and they still think they're a Japanese company, not a global one, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I get you, dude. I'm with you. I may be a Nintendo fanboy, but I will give them shit when shit is due. And that is shit. It is so shit. And
it's also it seems very schemish. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
does.
hey man, you're not talking nice things about our content. You're not saying nice things about our game. No games for you. It's
No
like,
games for you.
What the fuck? Like that's not the
Yeah,
point. That's if I shit on your product, like we were saying, I want Nintendo to succeed, but I sound salty, but I'm giving you feedback because I think I really want you to succeed.
Yeah, we don't harsh on Nintendo because we hate them. We harsh on Nintendo because we love them and we want them to succeed because I think everyone can agree. I think everyone can agree we would not be where we are today without them. And that is their legacy. They basically single-handedly saved this industry. And they're still trying to just keep it fresh and interesting for everyone. Whether or not they succeed is a topic we discussed at length earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I love how the stream's been half of like, hey, what's Nintendo doing at 3? And half of it's another it's been like, Nintendo, get your shit together, and the other was like, man, Nintendo's awesome.
But that one question came up. What does Nintendo do to drop the bomb at their conference? And it turned into, here's all the feedback we can give you that would drop the bomb and make us go, oh shit, Nintendo, I'm here.
No, and I agree with you. I totally agree. Yeah, no. Fanboy I may be, but I will harsh on them. And I agree. There are certain concepts I love, certain concepts I hate. I buy these because I love the cool figurines, not because I want the DLC. The DLC on Amiibos is bullshit.
Yes, preach.
But goddamn, I love the figurines.
I love me some action figures. But they have not implemented Amiibos in any ways that makes me think that not worth it. Not worth it.
I like the Disney Infinity characters more.
Oh, I just love the art style of the Disney Infinity.
Yeah, those guys look way better than any Amiibo ever.
So yeah, like I said, it's for everything I can say I love about Nintendo. There's probably something I can. God damn it, Nintendo! Why? And that's what annoys the hell out of me. It's like sometimes it is great to be a Nintendo fan, and sometimes it's just the worst thing in the world. Because you have to defend the bullshit sometimes.
I'll tell you, I don't know if I agree with Tim in the fact that I want them to drop motion controls. I really want there to be something innovative with it. Like, I don't want to pull.
Yeah, but that's the point. There hasn't been anything innovative. Like, get rid of it.
Yeah, but
It's same thing for Microsoft. Like when they brought the Kinect over to the Xbox One, I was like, this is a dumb idea. Yeah, my
yeah,
kids.
but no one's taken
like,
advantage of it. No one has done anything that you know, and then so it's like get rid of it. Well, I feel like if they get rid of it, they're sort of getting rid of something. They're getting rid of something that has a potential to be used. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't have motion controls. Like I don't have motion controls on Xbox, but I don't want to shake my controller to reload my gun. But give me something like there's got to be something like I'm not a game developer for a living. So you guys develop games for a living.
All right.
Use that.
Hey man, you still?
I want to see someone use it and take advantage of it and do something. And what blows my fucking mind. I'd rather them have the tools. I'd rather it be there and then use it and then rather than like
I always saw the motion stuff as being way too gimmicky, like way too gimmicky. And even in games that I really loved, like in Mario Galaxy.
Stop saying Mario. I'm gonna
Mario Galaxy. But like the jumping thing where you had to like waggle, like that's fucking dumb. Like that was dumb. This is such a great game, and you got me waggling. Like this is so stupid. I don't mind if it goes away. Nothing really of substance came from it. Like
hey,
maybe the bowling, maybe the tennis, but like,
yeah.
You played the bowling enough, or you played the tennis enough. You knew that you didn't have to do this great tennis swing. You could just play it doing this.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the magic is broken when you've played it long enough. And you see, it's like, well, this mechanic it's not really this giant motion. It's looking for a movement from the thing. That's it. So it's like it's gimmick at that point, right?
Yeah, and because back to an earlier point that Tim made, that the motion controls are a blocker for those who are disabled. Like if you've played any game recently that Nintendo has motion controls for, they also have a means of playing it in a more traditional environment. And the controls are never required to play the game. You can play Mario Kart without motion controls. You can play Breath of the Wild without them. Okay, 1-2 switch I'll give you, but that's one. But 1-2 switch.
You have to have
1-2 switch. Controls. Yeah, but 1-2 switch is more of like a tech demo game, and that's its own different kind of thing.
Should have been a pack-in. It should have been a pack-in.
It should have been a pack-in. I would have totally been happy with it. I didn't pick it up, but
it would have been
if I go into GameStop and I can find it used for like $20, I might grab it, but that's about it. It needed to be a pack-in like Wii Sports or thank you, whoever did that. Good God.
Okay, I was sure.
Too bad.
So, yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, it's I think that motion controls have potential if someone can figure them out, and as long as required, I think we're okay, because the 3 or 4 shrines in Breath of the Wild that had motion controls can go fucking suck a dick.
Please be respectful.
Sorry. I was just like, why?
But when you're when we go back to Burnout Paradise, when the 360, you remember when it used to capture your camp, like when it used to take a picture of you and put it on your license, and then like every time you ran someone off of the road, it would take a picture of their reaction. Like that was small, but it, like for me it was like it was
okay, dude.
I feel like the motion
Pinball
controls
Effects had the same thing, where you took your camera image and put it on the ball as a texture, so it looked like you were playing pinball, like you could see the reflection in the ball. It was really cool. It was very subtle, but it was really cool.
But that's what I mean. Like, don't you think there's a potential that someone hasn't come up with for motion controls that could potentially make motion controls really good?
Yeah, it
could.
Like, I'm not a developer. I can't say. I think there's potential out there. I mean, whether it's a fad or not, it's very niche. there's got to be something out there that is better than like doing the fucking marble maze bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think there can be a very interesting and immersive experience waiting. Yeah, Cooking Mama. Like, that's the kind of thing. Like, if it makes the experience immersive, then that's where it really helps out. And it was a cool gimmick to start like, oh, cool, look at this. Like, I thought Metroid Prime 3 was fantastic using the way that we controlled. Like, it's a great way to do first-person shooters on a console. But I think overall, it's like, that's kind of a niche, and it's not really going to take off because I don't think it's still as good as it could be. But yeah, it's like, and I think motion controls, like, there's room for them. But as a developer and as a designer, I'm not those things. I can't tell you where it is that I would like, I'm happy they're there because they can provide some fun. Like, if you've played Breath of the Wild, it's like doing like the scope in and like tagging things on the terrain. Like, I want to go there. It's a lot nicer when I can go, I just need to tweak this a little bit and go there. Like, rather than be like, nudge. Oh, wait, I moved overshot and did this. It's like aiming first person a bit with like the controls like on the Switch is fine. But it's as long as it's not like required. Like, that's not required.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
but it's not like it's not really providing anything other than, oh, it's nice. So.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, this is a plus for motion, but a lot of people love the motion controls, like the aiming in Splatoon using the motion controls, which, like, initially you think this is dumb, like, but then when you get used to it, it's actually quite good.
Yeah, and Tim's right. It has improved a lot since the original Wiimotes.
Well, the accuracy for sure, because that was always my biggest issue with it.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I totally agree with Splatoon. Like, it seemed natural.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you want. It's
not something you think you could get used to, but it grew on me quickly, and you know, enough that I was like, God, this game is fucking great.
Yeah. I suppose when you have to do like bullshit like mergers of that, like in like Punch Out for the Wii, where like you can still control like the old NES Classic, then you have to like point the thing at the screen to like, I need to use the menu this way. Like, why? Why did you do this?
That is so
annoying. So annoying.
So annoying.
Oh, and I love that game too, except for that one part. I'm like, why? Punch Out for the Wii was amazing.
Why do I feel like that was the same thing with the Mario Kart 8 for Wii U?
To go back earlier, there's the left field I want. I want a new Punch Out game.
Oh shit! Yeah, good call. Yes.
I want new Punch Out.
But who's the final boxer? Trump?
Whoa! Ripped from the headline.
No, I don't.
This Sunday, someday.
I think so. So this is kind of interesting point. Tim says isn't kind of like ARMS is more of a it's kind of in the same vein as a traditional fighting game. And while you think Punch Out might be that, who's that from? Please be respectful, Mappa, on my loots. Buy Endless Space 2 now. God damn it, bots.
Did my
Zorb's bot just whispered me not to post links. Anyway, but Punch Out's actually more of a puzzle game. It's all about reacting and adjusting to the patterns that your opponent makes and how you exploit their weaknesses. So it's actually more puzzle oriented than it is combat oriented. So,
Ooh.
But yeah, the Punch Out for the Wii remake was phenomenal. I really love to have a new one of those with something else. But yeah.
Yeah, I found the Super Punch Out for Wii was like, you know, it was like, hey, our motion controls are bullshit, so we're just gonna make a classic boxing game, and it was amazing.
I thought, and also another thing that was interesting was like you could actually, there were multiple ways to control that game. Again, talking back to like immersive experiences, you could actually use the Wiimote and nunchuck as controls, but you could also use the Wii balance board so that you could like dodge left or right on the board.
Oh yeah,
Mac would dodge those ways, so you could really have this like super like physically immersive experience for Punch Out, and that would have been amazing if I tried that out. But yeah, I mean that was totally possible. but it was
cool.
never required. It was always optional. You didn't do it. But there's an experience where it could be really immersive if you do it correctly. And I think the Wii motes probably were not up to snuff there, but the Joy-Cons might be. So there's my left field.
Are those comfortable when you put them together like this?
Like this? Like, oh, okay, when you say like that, are you talking about like, I put them together like this, or are you talking about like in this thing?
Yeah,
like that.
It's comfortable-ish. The buttons are really small, so like I'll play Mario Kart and like hold them, and it leaves an imprint. Oh god, I started on my Switch. It made a noise. And like I'll leave like an imprint on my thumb. All right, and actually, Tim's got a point. I got to do the same, so we should probably wrap this up here shortly.
Oh yes, I gotta go for a run tomorrow. So
we've been at this for 2 hours.
it's a 1 hour show. Come on, leave me.
We're having fun.
We say hour-ish.
Hour-ish. So now it's 2 hours-ish.
Hour-ish.
Good night, Tim. Thank you for the raid. Sexy beast, you. I'm the worst. You're the best. That's all. So yeah. So do we want to wrap this up? Give some final thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we excited for E3 in general?
Absolutely. I'm super jazzed.
Super jazzed, and I mean, even though we've been giving constructive feedback for the past hour on Nintendo, I think I'm super stoked. I think Nintendo has the potential. Like, I'm super stoked to see there's a lot of hype for the Switch, and I'm really hoping they knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they'll bring that we don't know about. Things that and they gave us that kind of like broad schedule of like, Splatoon, ARMS, New Donk City.
New Donk City.
Mario.
I forgot there's Xenoblade coming in. There's also I forgot about those.
So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of like what else they have planned.
Yeah, what they jam out with. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm always excited to see what Nintendo got cooking. And the last few years have been with the decline of the Wii U, and it's all like, I made an image last year that was like, it was like, I took the shot from, what was it, from Avengers, where it's like Loki like wearing like all these like game logos. He's got like all these pictures. Like, it's like, we have an army, and here's like Tony Stark with like Legend of Zelda shirt. It's like, we have a Zelda.
Yeah.
Like that's how E3 felt to me. I was like, it's like, like that was like the best E3 in a long time. I was like, wow, look at all these awesome new games coming out. And then it was like, Breath of the Wild, motherfuckers. And I was like, okay, you win. I'm there.
Yeah. I'm MurfGuy, and I am buying 3 copies.
Yes, I am Murph, and I bought. No, I
This
only
game
bought
will
two.
be a success, and I will make sure of it.
But yeah, I mean, so definitely knowing the stuff that's coming out, I'm interested to see what they got to come up for Splatoon 2 and for Mario Odyssey and what else might be coming down the pike. And I really hope there's something left field from one of the more iconic franchises, from Metroid, from Punch-Out, something like that. Yeah. I want my Nintendo left field announcement. I want that one more thing. Let's close on this neat little detail that you guys weren't expecting. And it'll be kind of interesting what they're going to pull out for their first year, and hopefully it'll be good, and hopefully we'll get that third party support that it kind of needs to progress and survive. So that's my thoughts. I'm excited.
Right on. So as always, we do this every Sunday and sometimes Mondays after I run a happy marathon on Mixer. All right, this is our first
Mixer. We're on Mixer.
Mixer. This sweet beam stream. So if you thanks for joining us all. As always, you can find us here, Gwildor, GWILD0R, Zorbsy, ZORBSIE, and of course our sweet co-host tonight, MurfGuy, MURFGUY, and you can actually find us all on Twitter, actually with the same monikers, because we're fucking
fantastic.
So easy.
So straight gun like that. And,
yes. Ain't no fancy pants get around here.
No fancy
No
pants get around
XXG
here.
wild or XXZY.
There's no
420,
underscores.
no
Yeah.
underscore,
420s, 1977.
no 3 or 4 Zs or something. Bzzz.
I'm the OGMG.
Yeah, that's right. Zerbs. Fucking Mitch.
I love
that
it.
guy.
I love it.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for dropping, giving us the
Yeah, thanks
the
for
feedback.
coming by, man. Murph, that was awesome.
Yep.
And we'll do
And
this
Raiders,
again.
thank you for coming in with Tim. That was amazing. Normally I'd go off on a raid, but I'm not. I guess we could do a co-raid, but I'm really tired. I need to get to bed. So
Yeah, we'll wrap this up.
yeah.
See you guys.
Catch y'all later.
See you there, guys.